So to finish off our tests for the helpers.go file, we need to write a test for errorJSON. And one of the things we're going to want to do here is to actually have this function return an error, which we can ignore in a lot of cases in our actual code, but it will make it easier to test if we actually return an error here. So down at the very, I've added the error return type to the function signature, and down here I'll return nil. And of course, there's actually nowhere in here where we can generate an error, but this will make it easier for us to test. So I've added that response type. Now let's go to helpers_test.go and go to the very bottom of this file, and we'll write a test for this. Okay? So func and I'll test_errorJSON. And again, it takes the parameter t pointer to testing.t, and it doesn't return anything. So we'll create a response recorder, same as we did in the last couple of tests. rr is equal to http test.newRecorder. And we'll check for an error when we call test app errorJSON. And we'll give it the response recorder. And it needs some kind of error, so we'll just generate one. Errors new. Some error. And test app has a capital A. There. So let's check for this and say if error is not equal to nil, then t.error with whatever the error is. Okay, so that's a very simple test. But if you go back and look at helpers_test.go or helpers.go, we actually have a switch statement here where we check for the occurrence of these sorts of things. So let's go back to our test and actually test that bit of the code as well. So to make it simple, I'll create a slice, which I'll call error slice. And that's assign the value of a slice of strings. And I'll populate that slice with SQL state. And the first code I'm looking for is 23505. And then I'll just duplicate that 2 more times and change the numbers. The second one is 22001. And the last one is 23503. And of course, these values, these strings, correspond to what we're looking for over here. So 23,505, 22,001, and 23,503. And those should correspond to exactly what I'm seeing in here. Okay? 305, 22,001, and 23,503. So that should actually give us something to iterate through. So let's go back to our test and do something with this error slice. And all I have to do is a for loop. For, don't care about the index, do care about the value, which I'll call x. And I'll range through error slice. And I'll say custom error is assigned the value of test app.errorJSON. And I'll give it my response recorder, which I can use a second time and a third time and a fourth time. And I'll create a new error, errors.new. And this time the parameter is x, whatever the current iteration through this slice is. Okay? And I'll also put in http.statusunauthorized. So I can test that status change as well. And I'll say if custom error is not equal to nil, then we have an error, t.error, and we'll call it custom error. So let's open our terminal and make sure we're in the right folder. There we are. And we'll just clear the screen and type go test-v. Run all the tests in the current directory. And it passed as expected. Okay, that was relatively straightforward. Let's move on and try some actual integration testing over here in the internal folder in the data folder. Okay? We'll do that in the next lecture.